Yo!
We're on. Hey!
Hey guys, welcome to Ruthlessly Committed with Ryan and Lucy. And like normal, I don't even know the topic for tonight. I kind of have
like
a direction.
normal. You came up with this topic.
It's responsibility. There's a title to it and there's something.
It's about leading and no excuses. So basically we're talking about the power that one person has to shift an entire relationship. And based on what we've experienced in our marriage, we wanted to share with you what has worked for us and what was missing for us, and what now in retrospect we see how it all ended up working together. So before we move on, I want to share our live video on my page.
I always start bouncing at the beginning of the video because we turn off the music right when we start the video, and I'm still bouncing.
Just keep bouncing. We just keep bouncing. I'm gonna share this so that people can.
All right, so there's a big reason why we wanted to do this video. One is it's the responsibility thing.
The responsibility thing.
I feel powerful. Man, will you stop that? I feel responsible. I mean, I feel powerful just knowing that I have 100% responsibility in creating what I want, and I have 100% the power to create what I want in our marriage.
Yeah. And
so that's one part of the video. But a second thing is we deal with often the big excuse of, yeah, that works for you guys, but you're lucky you have Lucy, or you're lucky you have sexy Ryan Lampy. Either way, but we can't have that. There's no hope for us because I want something special, but my husband is not into it.
My wife doesn't care. Hey, wait, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Is that like your stomach, or is that a fart, or is that a creaky floor? Like what's?
Oh, this thing.
Do you hear that? Oh, it's the ottoman. Okay, now I can
fart
be
on
present.
Camera.
Well, I don't know. I fart in the bed, so why wouldn't you? Anyway, we're talking about leading. And so today it's about no excuses and creating the relationships that we want. So where should we begin? Where shall we begin? Should we take it back to 2015? You know what happened that year?
I don't know when that was.
You know, that's when Ryan first, when his body started kind of turning on him, or not performing the way that you were used to it performing for you.
Sexually?
No, that was still going pretty good. He's a champ.
So it's 2015. Is that?
It was that
October
fall.
was when? Is that when I had the hernia and everything?
No, it was 2016. No, 2015. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
when that first happened. So he we still don't know exactly what happened. Like basically it was some pain going on for about 6 months or so, and then he turned to reach something on the couch and he felt something snap. And then hence began the journey to figure out what was going on with his body, and yeah.
So basically my body worked very well.
It could do crazy stuff like 6-foot vertical jumps.
One day it didn't work anymore for the most part. Like I was stuck on the couch and hobbling around. So, but why did you want to bring this back to this point?
Because this is when things started to descend. Because it took a while before Ryan really got into a slump, and felt like he had lost his identity and all that. I mean, I can let you speak more on that because I wasn't in your body. That's just my experience.
I'm just trying to tie in where this comes to responsibility. So for me, I know that so before this moment, see, Lucy had been working her ass off, and I had been the full-time dad, taking care of the kids. We only had 2 kids at the time, and it was really exciting because the 2 kids their names are Callie and Lexi. I don't know how old they were, but they were in school, like maybe 7 and 8, 6 and 7.
No, they were.
Okay, and so they were at this great age where they were pretty
really
independent.
Fun.
Yeah, really fun, independent.
They weren't in diapers, and they could feed themselves and bathe themselves. It was really amazing.
So I was taking them surfing, skateboarding multiple times a week. We went to the ocean nearly every day.
Yeah, we lived at the beach.
Every day, like 6 times a week. And yeah, life was really good. And I took so much pride in being this, at least what I thought was this amazing father who spent so much time with his kids and took my kids out to do all this crazy stuff that I didn't really know anybody else who would do that. And then one day, and one day, my body was taken from me, and I went into this world of, like slowly, I guess, but like this world of pity, this world of just
it
like
was
life
like you were
sucked for
waiting
me.
for it to pass.
Yeah,
before
I mean, I've had
things didn't
injuries in
suck
the past,
anymore.
and
And
things usually get better, but I waited a month, 2 months, 3 months, and things didn't get better.
months. Next thing you know, it's
so
been a
my
year.
world was falling apart.
Then 2 years, and then we find ourselves in this really, really painful situation where we're fighting all the time, and Ryan is not showing up. He doesn't want to wake up in the mornings, and I feel super resentful. I'm really stressed out. And
I like where this is going.
I felt really alone.
I see it now.
And we talked about this just a tiny bit in our very first episode about that season that felt like it was forever long, and it was really hellacious. Is that the word? Is that a word? That's totally a word, isn't it?
It was
hellacious. Yeah. And so during that time, we thought. I thought to myself, I cannot do this anymore. So something needs to change. And if my circumstances aren't changing, I got to figure out something to change in myself. And up until that point, I'm used to letting my circumstances dictate how I was going to feel. So this was all new to me. I'm like, how do I take responsibility for my experience of my life? How do I take responsibility for my emotions and my response to him when he's being an asshole, and all this? And I was not guilt-free either. I didn't respond very kindly all the time. I totally lashed back. I started to learn some tools and pick up some techniques on how to calm myself down and maybe respond to him better.
So let's go to.
But that wasn't the
what
answer.
was a normal day? Because it was hell. What was a normal day? Like I was super passive-aggressive asshole. I was used to being able to let out a lot of frustration,
through his body,
frustration, just emotions and stuff in general. Because I was always out doing something extreme with my body, and now I find myself on the couch. I can't do. I started playing video games like I think maybe a couple months in or something. I started playing video games, which I haven't done since I was 17, 16, and
it was a very all-consuming thing. I was pregnant with Ezekiel at that time, our fourth baby. And I felt like I was taking on the load of the whole family. Like I was not only taking care of the 3 kids and then growing one, but also figuring out like, what can I do for him? What can I do? Like, how can I fix him? How can I help him? And there was nothing that I could do to fix him or help him. I didn't realize that for a while. And that's the first mistake that I made, was trying to fix him and trying to change him instead of accepting him for where he was at. He sure didn't accept himself for where he was at. And I didn't accept myself for where I was at. So that is the first big thing that does not work, people. Oh my God.
So this is cool. So what's kind of cool here is that we didn't paint this picture yet, but I was an asshole, like big time.
And that was a controlling bitch.
Okay, you're just trying to be all funny.
No, but I was. Because I felt like I had to be. To get stuff done.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Controlling. I mean, I wasn't very controlled. Like you weren't controlling me.
Like the situation.
But yeah, I can see what you're saying.
The environment, just my.
So just me. I'm in this helpless state. I feel helpless, anyways. I looked at myself back in that time as helpless, and so I treated myself helplessly. And I didn't take responsibility. I mean, I did, what I could or what I thought I should do minimally to take care of the kids, take care of, I think we had the third baby. Oh yeah, we had the third baby, waking up every night. She cried for, this is no joke, 2-3 hours every single night screaming. We felt bad for our neighbors and stuff. I mean, but for the most part, I tried to slide by and just wait for the season to pass. And so I was helpless, basically. Being a victim, and being helpless in itself sucks. At the same time, I wasn't just sitting there helplessly. I was also causing lots of shit because Lucy wanted stuff done. Lucy just expected a human being to be a human being, and I wasn't being a human being.
I wanted a husband.
I wanted a husband, yes.
Yeah.
And a father, and not be her father, but wanted me to show up as a man. and I was just being a victim. I was being a punk, and I didn't show up. So the thing is, easily, the blame could be all put on me in that season for just for basically giving up. That's what I did. I gave up, and I'm like, I'm going to give up right now. I'm giving up until something changes, and I didn't see any hope. I mean, I broke down and cried so many times in pity, thinking like, man, I'm never going to get to surf again. I'm never going to get to be the dad that I want to be again. I'm never going to get to do all these fun things that I've lived my life with and sometimes for. And I was just living in my own little pit, and I drug everybody with me, and particularly Lucy.
And I think that one of the worst moments that I experienced of Ryan was when you felt like you were failing as a father, because you look back and it had been, I think, 2 years at that point that you'd been absent.
So one of the worst moments for you, or for me, or
for me to witness. One of the worst moments for me to witness. Like, I could see the pain.
Okay, so you could see my pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also had my own pain, but so it could easily be, you know, construed like it's all his responsibility.
It's so cool that
but it wasn't.
That she owned up. We're gonna figure this out. I cut her off a lot, and I got some shit about it last week, and I realized like, yeah, I do. I cut her off a lot. It's a new thing. I just actually started doing this past like 6 weeks or something, and I don't think it serves us very well. We'll figure this out.
We're figuring it out. It's a little messy right now. We both have a lot of thoughts and feelings.
And
revelations.
So you owned up to being this controlling bitch. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. But I painted the picture of myself and how I was affecting you, how I was dragging you down. So just, first of all, before you try to get all responsible and everything, because she's resolved all this stuff.
Don't be responsible. Okay,
let's paint, because you can't go into this place of, you know, this vision, this paradise, or this dreamland until we show the actual reality of what it was.
Okay, I see.
So how did you actually see the situation? Me not showing up as a husband, as a man, as a father for the kids, as just a part of the family.
Like putting myself there.
As a man you married.
I felt like...
Not how did you feel?
Things seemed, like the situation, you mean?
Yeah, how did you see the situation? Like, what are the facts of the situation that pissed you off?
Oh, well, that's I thought you were going in a different direction. The facts about it that pissed me off were that you weren't showing up. Little thing, like I would have to ask, and I didn't see you as reliable. I didn't know if you were gonna get up in the morning, what time. I had to worry about when I go to work, when I go to see a client or whatever, when I have this thing scheduled, is he gonna be there in time? And then in what state is he gonna be? Is he gonna be in a good mood? Is he gonna be in a bad mood? How do I have to treat him? Do I have to walk on eggshells? Can I tell him what I really feel, what I really think? And I always felt like, not always is very, not gonna be extreme, but most of the time I felt like, no, I can't be very real with him because he's in a fragile state. And I don't wanna impose on that. So I didn't feel like he could really handle me. And I would just control things and make them the best that I could.
Any wife ever wants to feel that way.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel,
or husband towards a wife either.
Yeah. So that was the situation. That was my experience, along with feeling lonely, pretty hopeless, waiting for it to end too, until the time that I decided I can't just wait. Like I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore. Not like this. So something's got to change. So that's when things started to shift, and that was the summer after the first big injury that.
So things started to shift. I don't even realize this. So what do you mean?
Yeah, in myself. So he can't really see it at this point.
Okay,
it's just a mentality
when was this?
change.
It was after we moved to San Diego?
Yeah. It was a couple months after we moved here.
Okay, so before my surgery still.
Yeah. Yes.
So something started to shift in you. What shifted?
It was that realization that I don't want to do this. I don't want to live like this.
What does that mean?
I don't want to.
You want to get a divorce?
Yeah, well, I considered that. I was like, well, what can I do to change my experience? We used to fight
like crazy when we first moved here.
It was all the time. And conflict. It's not like the colliding we're talking about.
It's not colliding. We were attacking and defending.
Not for a purpose.
Attacking and defending, trying to survive. That's not colliding. That is fighting.
A lot of being triggered by
surviving
each other.
and trying to be better and just survive, trying to keep a good image of ourselves.
Yeah, it was survival. And I remember thinking to myself, I am so tired of being this miserable. And I was also in the middle of this horrible eczema issue. I had that for 18 months. And it started when after Ryan got that injury. And then my body just started freaking out on me. I think it was like, oh, this is too much shit to handle, okay? You gotta take care of you. And it was added more stress to my life. I couldn't sleep at night. So through all this, I also wasn't sleeping at night because I was clawing away at my skin. Like I would wear gloves, cotton gloves, 24/7.
And we had the fourth baby at this time. Everywhere.
And we have a newborn, and we have a 1-year-old, and we have 2 kids in school. And I was just trying to keep my shit together, you know? Like trying to get through life and survive. I just wanted to survive. But then it got to the point where I wanted more than to just survive. And I was done with being a little bitch. That didn't happen overnight. That shift, but I mean, seeing myself as a victim. Like life is just happening to me, and I'm hopeless. I'm helpless.
I'm about to be a victim of you spilling your tea on me.
It's cold. And
I was just. I'm not gonna imagine. I was so draining, so exhausting on her.
It was
and I was just completely in my own hell of. I mean, there were times where I couldn't walk, and just.
Oh, especially after the surgery too. The apparently
even before surgery. Oh, I sprained my damn ankle right before surgery. Like all kinds of crazy shit, and I just cannot win any kind of small lottery or anything. But yeah, I was just constantly draining Lucy, and she was being my victim. You were getting tired of being my victim.
Yes.
I was my own victim. To God, really, that was my world. My story was I was God's victim. And okay, so go through surgery. We continue the same shit.
Yeah. And then I keep watching. Next? I keep learning all the the Tony Robbins tools and studying all this stuff and doing NLP learning and books and self-help. I'm like, something's gotta fix me. Something's gotta help me. Because I am
so taking this back, because we're going through this story because of the power of taking responsibility.
Yeah.
One person taking responsibility. So is there any responsibility being taken yet?
Yes. At that point, I started taking responsibility for my emotions, which was the first time ever in my life. It wasn't no longer like, well, you made me mad, you made me this. It was like, no, I am responsible for how I feel, and I get to deal with that. I get to create that and shift and all that stuff. So that was the first thing. Yeah, at that point, that was happening. Okay.
So great job. She's kicking ass, starting to take some responsibility. Finally, this is after a year. This is a year. Over a year.
Yeah. A year.
Over a year after this war.
Took me a year of hell to be like, nope.
Yeah. So over a year, and I was a victim to myself. I was just such a fucking victim and a drain on the family. And Lucy, I was also a victim of Lucy, because we'd fight, and I was just like, man, this bitch is like.
Yeah, and I'm like, why can't you see it my way? And she's like, why can't you see it my way? And we just clash and clash. So
like, man, she has no compassion for me and my shit and my pain. I can't even walk.
Yeah.
My whole world is crashing on me. I'm a victim, and Lucy, the same thing is happening.
And I was going through the stuff with my body, and I was like, what is happening with my body? It's an autoimmune thing. It was just like my body hated me or something. I was immune
to She used to wake up, and the sheets would just be bloody.
Blood.
Just blood everywhere from her skin, her hands, and face.
You know what, though? I think it comes to a point with any situation where it becomes so painful to be there that even though you know it's going to be so hard to do something differently, it's worth it. Because you do not want to be there. Like, it sucks so bad
Possibly.
to be there.
I mean, that's
my experience. That's my experience.
Okay, so.
And the same thing with the eczema, too. Because I handled it, and I was like, oh, it's okay. I kind of halfway did stuff.
Here's the thing.
My face blew
up. That is completely true, then everybody we see, when the pain gets really hard, we do something about it.
Not really hard. Painful enough.
Painful enough.
So painful that.
Here's the thing. You say that.
The risk is,
my experience of most people is that they quit. I quit.
Or you quit. Yeah.
Yeah, most people quit, get a divorce.
That's the other option, is you quit. It gets so painful, you quit.
Quit on life, quit whatever. So yeah, so there is an option. We get where the pain is so hard, we have to do something. Often is give up.
Yeah, you have to do something.
Or it's push on.
It's either step out and try something different, or give up.
Okay, so now you're taking some responsibilities. You're learning some stuff. Anthony Robbins and what else? What's going on with you?
I was really trying to figure out what I wanted, who I was, why I was so bothered by the things that bothered me, and how to change that. And it wasn't until about
You know what I think? I
8
think we
months
need our
later.
hands in the video.
We need more hands.
Just realize, like, all we get is like these heads.
All you get is talking heads.
Yeah.
You just get 2 talking heads.
We'll
One
to-
that's closer up
have to
and one
figure
that's
this
back
out.
here.
I'm sorry, so I cut you off.
That continued for about, what was it? Not 6, 7, 8, 9 months. About 9 months. And I was on the search, like always searching. Wake up in the mornings, go for an hour and a half walk and listen to Tony Robbins the whole time. Or somebody to just motivate the shit out of me and be like, your life is great and look at it differently and focus on what you want and all that.
Okay.
So
But
9 months later
I
is
must
when
say,
things really shifted.
For you, but
For
shit
me.
didn't,
For me.
shit didn't work for us. So it shifted inside of, like, you started taking responsibility, great job, but you didn't, your like impact on our marriage wasn't anything. Like, it was the same old shit
I was
still.
very focused on myself because I was like, I've never done this with myself. I've never taken responsibility for how I feel and how I am showing up. So that was all new to me, and that went on for a while. So, what year was that? 2017.
I mean, in the past, often you've relied on me. You've relied on me to push you, motivate you,
Yes.
tell you you're sexy, things like that. And all of a sudden now you don't have me.
So not only did I not have that, but I felt like I needed to be that for him.
Since college, basically, since before we were dating and stuff, for the first time you had to just take full responsibility.
Yeah, I couldn't
for
lean
yourself.
on him. Yeah. That was really huge because I feel like that was ripped from me.
So when... Sorry, see, I cut you off again. So when did the shift actually happen in our marriage, though? Like, when did things start to change between you and me?
Well, a lot of stuff happened in that 1 year after that. So
No, give me like
really
a time point.
changing
Give me like what, like an event.
after
something.
you went to the training.
No, I think when you went to
wait.
Original Abundance and you came back.
Yes. I thought you mean when things started to be like how they are now. Okay.
Well, no, yeah.
So we'll
not
take
where
this
they are
back.
now.
So that's what I mean. So 9 months after I originally started this journey, that's when I went to this training that I came back a lot lighter. I came back more in touch with myself. Like,
She
I
went
was
to
just
a
more
training.
alive, more alive.
She met a man named Sebastian Wynn, who rocked her world, and she came back a changed woman. She came back. I've never been to like some kind of it's like a Tony Robbins event or anything like that. And
I would hate that if you call it.
I'm just saying, I never,
transformational
I've
event.
been on missions trips and lots of events, even, TDYs and stuff with the military. People get all pumped up and excited. And like when Lucy came back from this training,
He was kind of skeptical, first of all. He's like, well, what is this going to do? Is this going to work? What's this about?
Are you
I
finished?
try to cut you off, yes. I'm done.
When she came back from the training, she came back showing up as this, for the biggest I've seen up to that point, a super responsible woman. She was like, I'm going to create, like, fuck what's going on in our life right now. With Ryan and his bullshit, his pain, his suffering, all that stuff, and the kids, the circumstances, the bills that we have going on, living in the most expensive place we've ever lived. Like, fuck all this. I'm going to create what I want. And that was the most, like, she came back super responsible. And it's not just, like, in her business and what she was going to do with her business, but in our relationship, I saw a huge difference. But the thing is, I was very skeptical, like she said, and I was thinking, like, okay, this is great. Maybe she's on some emotional high.
Yeah, you didn't know if it would last.
It's like maybe a week or two, like it's gonna die. And the old Lucy's gonna come back. The thing is, it didn't happen exactly. I mean, I think some stuff fizzled out over
so
time.
some stuff
but
did
for the
work
most
out.
part, she had gotten some tools and was incorporating them, implementing them, and it had changed her as a person and has changed our marriage. And all right, so give your experience after that.
So I felt like I felt like a new woman. I felt like
You
a
were.
new woman so many times since then. It's crazy. So I came back from that and I was so excited and I was so on fire and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this stuff. I'm gonna give my vision. I'm gonna impact these people and be this present mother and this great wife and all this. And then it was like back to reality. My husband was still dead inside. And it was so challenging because I felt like I couldn't really be that excited around him. So I would go talk to my people from the event and be this person with them, and then feel kind of like dragged down. The thing about that is that I allowed myself to have that energy brought down. Like, that was on me. It wasn't because I walked into Ryan's presence and he was like, oh, I hate this about you. I did that to myself. So anyway, so that was my experience, though. The way I experienced that was that I was a victim to Ryan's like negativity or whatever, his moods and lack of aliveness, until he got to experience a little bit of this for himself. Not in the same training, it was a different thing.
So yeah, so I don't know, a month or two after.
But he saw some tools being used.
I met Sebastian, and yeah, I got like my eyes were opened a little bit, and I was like, man, I want to change what's going on in my life, and I didn't get the full experience, but for the most part, what's going on now is that Lucy is being super responsible. She's like, this is what I want, and I'm going after it. Now, what she didn't have was particularly a vision for her marriage, for our marriage.
Yeah.
So what she had all of a sudden now, for the first time in her life in a very big way, was a vision for her business. And it changed our lives. A vision for her business, and a vision of just who she wanted to be as a human being. And so she was showing up in our marriage differently, and it affected our marriage in great ways. At the same time, she didn't have a vision particularly for our marriage. She couldn't tell me or herself or anybody, because she never thought about it, like, what do I want out of my marriage? What do I want in my relationship with Ryan? And basically, if there's no vision, what she wanted was, hey, I want to survive. I want to make this work.
Yeah.
I want us to be able to do this good enough so I can make my business work.
Yeah, basically I want to be able to just past tolerate this so that it doesn't have a negative impact on whatever else I'm doing and on my parenting and all that. So that's where I was at. I didn't even stop to think, what do I want for my marriage? What kind of what is the marriage that I want? What does that look like? Because I thought, well, I'm not responsible for that. I don't have control over that. So why even let myself want it? And this is a thing that I hear a lot of women in particular, because I talked to a lot of women about this more than the men, that I hear them talk about, is that, well, I don't know, like, I don't even really know what I want. I haven't sat and thought about it, because I don't think it's really possible anyway. So what I hear in that is that, what's the point in even dreaming? Like, it's impossible, it's a fantasy. But the thing is, if you never even let yourself want it and know what that looks like, then there's not a chance that it's gonna happen. And so I was missing the vision. I didn't have a vision for our marriage. I had the tools, I didn't have the vision. Ryan, however,
So here's the thing. At the beginning, when you were taking full responsibility in the beginning and showing up as this, this superhuman, it impacted our marriage. Like, your business went really well, and not as good as you wanted it to go, but it went really well compared to the past. Like, she had made some huge progress in her business, like never before. And our marriage at the beginning was getting better. We're starting to reconnect. But then over time, over the course of the next, 8 months, that started to die again. Like, our marriage went back to the way it was. Her business continued to push because she had a vision for her business. But because she didn't have a vision for our marriage, but she was being responsible, but she just didn't have a vision. She was taking responsibility, but didn't have a vision to apply the responsibility to and the power to. So our marriage, we went back into the same old cycle of passive aggression, huge fights, crazy shit. The whole neighborhood could hear our fights. I can almost guarantee it.
It really echoes on our street.
And it gets super quiet, especially at night. Okay, so going into the future. So shit got crazy. Around Thanksgiving, I kind of got over... I found out my knee was permanent. I got an MRI back. So I have like back injury, knee injury, neck injury, shoulder stuff, all kinds of stuff. But my knee, it kept me from jumping. I found out it was permanent. And when I found out it was permanent, I spent a few days just like really deep depression. Like, man, I'm never gonna have what I want again. So I was faced with this decision to, okay, am I going to make a change in my life? Am I going to live full out again? Or am I going to just continue to be this passive, dead person that I've been for a couple years now. And so I made a decision like around Thanksgiving, just the week before Thanksgiving. And I started showing up and things changed. At the same time, I still didn't have a particular vision for our marriage. Like I wanted a better, like my vision was I wanted a better marriage. I wanted better sex. I wanted better connection.
That's so vague. Like, what is better?
Yeah, very vague. Very vague. And
you say vague.
I know. You always give me shit the way I say vague. I don't even know who taught me how to say vague. So and so Lucy has been making this huge progress in our marriage with being responsible, but not applying it towards a particular vision.
Yeah.
And this is where the cool stuff starts to happen. So I go to the training, the one that she went to a year ago, like a year past, a year before, and I get to go to it. And so she comes out of it, like when she went to it, she came out of it with a big vision for her business, because that was her primary thing, at least back then. And my thing has always been family, has kind of been my number one thing, family and my faith, and my body too. Everything. I think business was definitely lowest.
I think that's the only thing that you really didn't have a very big vision for. And
so when I came out of the training, I came out with a huge fucking vision for my family. Like, this is what I want in my marriage. This is the connection I want with my marriage. Different. I came back with clear fucking intentions. That this is what I want in my marriage. This is what I want with my kids, my parenting, not my parenting, just my relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
This is how I want it to look like. This is what our connection is going to be. Period. Like, there's no fucking way around it. I'm going to create this. And I had a vision. And the thing is, by this point, Lucy was so caught up in her business and the shit that was going on.
Yeah. So used to my flow of things without relying on him being any certain way.
Yeah, so she was taking like no responsibility in our fucking marriage. Like, she was just surviving, like doing what she had to do, going through the motions. Yeah. But I came back. And so what she didn't accomplish the first time she came back with full responsibility, full power, but she had no vision to apply it to. She applied it to her business.
Yeah.
I came back, I have a vision for our marriage. And I'm like, here's the thing, at the beginning, like things went well, the first day, maybe. And but I was just committed. I was ruthlessly fucking committed. I was going to make this happen, create this. I will create this marriage that I've never seen before. I don't know anybody, personally, I don't know anybody who has the connection that I want in my heart, that I envision in my heart for our marriage and my kids. And so, in the beginning, there was a lot of collisions, and these are actual collisions. This is not fighting. I'm not defending myself and attacking her. And possibly she's defending herself.
But there was a lot of stuff that hadn't come to the surface before, or in a long time, or in this way, that it was weeks of unearthing new stuff every day. And coming from this new Ryan that I wasn't used to experiencing. I'm like, wow, you actually are for me? Like, you're not trying to minimize me or attack me or anything. Like, it was about the vision. It was about what he wanted for our marriage and for our family.
And it sounds crazy. Maybe powerful, but it sounds maybe simple that I come back with a vision, and I'm going to create this. I'm committed to making this happen.
Yeah.
In reality, I was, but the also other side of the reality was that every time we got into these collisions, and especially the moments following, up until Lucy would get back into integrity, was that
that's a big thing.
I would get part of me would just almost lose hope. Like, shit, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing, not the right thing as in right and wrong, but the right thing that's going to get us, that's going to serve us as a couple to this place that I call my vision.
Yeah.
My vision for myself was I'm going to be the best fucking husband I can be all the time, period. Like, period. That's it. And if I'm not, I'm going to acknowledge it and get right back into it. And every time we had these collisions in the beginning, like, there's parts of me that questioned, like, is this the best thing that can happen? Because in my world, what I've experienced so many times in the past, for other men, from other husbands, from even my own father, is that the easy way, but also possibly the better way, is, okay, shit gets really tough, there's a huge fight. Instead of like going to war and getting the cops involved and shit, I'll just, alright baby, okay, cool. cool.
kind of back off and let them.
And I disengage. Give some
Because you're
time.
like, it's not worth
give
it.
some
I don't
space.
care as much as they do. And we've done that in the past.
And we've done that, yeah.
A lot.
The issue with that, I think we've done that a lot less than normal couples. Well, but the issue with that, maybe that's because I'm so fucking feisty, like my mom.
So passionate and fiery.
But the issue with the whole disengaging thing, when shit gets really tough and one person disengages and becomes passive, basically becoming the doormat, the quitter, no progress is made towards a vision. No progress is made towards connection. In fact, there's less connection because one person just died a little bit inside.
Yeah.
Just gave up a little bit of himself or herself. And so it was hard in the beginning. Like, I struggled with, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to do, as in, is this the best thing for our marriage? But I guess I took a chance. I mean, I didn't know any other way.
Well, neither of us knew it in any other way. We knew that this was all new to us, and it was gonna be messy, and we were gonna figure it out. We were committed to figuring it out as we went along. And the big thing that I wasn't used to, that I didn't expect this, and I definitely didn't expect how hard it would be, is that Ryan could really see when I was out of integrity. Like when I was bullshitting myself, when I was bullshitting him, when I was not seeing things for what they really were. And that, I wasn't used to him calling me out on that. I was like, wow, I did not see that. And then he could see it, and I resisted it, and I'm not free of that. I resist it less now than I did at the beginning.
I don't think
I can see it faster.
I'm not free of that either. I don't think anybody. I mean, possibly some people are free.
Yeah. It's kind of like the big distinction is that I told him that I am committed to being a woman of integrity. That's the big thing. Because if I didn't really want that, then he could say, hey, you know what? You're lying to yourself right now. You're lying. Like, this isn't really how you feel. I would just be like, well, fuck you. You know, I don't really care. This is just where I'm at, and I don't want to change it. So I've second guessed my commitment many times. I don't know if I want this integrity thing. It's so much easier without it. But I really do, because I get my power from that. So back to the no excuses. This is what we saw was missing for us. This is the disconnect. When I got the tools, I didn't really have the vision for our marriage. It was way easier for me to go for the vision I had for my business, as hard as that is, as much work as that took. It was much easier because there was not this whole, like, I felt like I had more control over that, and I felt like I wouldn't be as heartbroken if it didn't work out. You know, whereas if I really invest myself into the vision for my marriage, and then he doesn't reciprocate, that would hurt. That would hurt way more. So anyway, so I was missing the vision, and then during that time he was missing the tools, and then he started getting the tools, and then we got the vision. So all in all, it just sounds so simple, and you have to go through all this hell to figure all this stuff out. You need the vision, and you're right. Can you see your hands? We can see your hands. You need the vision, and you need the tools. Without both,
you need the tools, but the big thing is the vision. Because if you have the vision and you're willing to do whatever the fuck it takes,
you'll figure it out.
If your intentions are 100%, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get our marriage here where I want it to be. I'm clear about where I want it to be in our marriage, what I want it to be. Like, nothing is gonna hold me back. It's not about, how am I going to get it? It's about what's gonna fucking stop me from getting it.
It's like our coach says, if you don't have the tools, intentions,
I get my tools. If I don't have, if Lucy is not on board with my vision, it's like, I'm not gonna be her victim. Like, I'm going to fucking create whatever I have to create to make this happen. I mean, one of the big commitments along the way that I've had to make was treating her like a queen no matter what. Because in my head, my story that I was telling myself was, shit, she doesn't treat me like a king. Shit, she doesn't deserve to be treated like a queen. Sometimes she does, and I will treat her like a queen when she does. Other times,
when I earn it.
Yeah, like, I would be hurt. I'm like, shit, I'm hurt, and I'm your victim right now. I'm not gonna fucking treat you like a queen. Like, you don't deserve it. And the big shift that happened in me through coaching was I realized that I had the responsibility all the time.
That's so hard
Like,
to
I can
accept
treat. I
for
have
me.
the responsibility, no matter how she shows up.
Yeah.
I have the responsibility and the power. Like, I don't have to, but I can.
You have that power, and when
Yeah.
we don't use that and we give it away,
Like, I don't
we
have to be
victim.
responsible, but I can be responsible. I can own 100% of the responsibility, thus having 100% of the power to treat her like a queen all the time, no matter if she, deserves it or not, acting like a bitch or not. Like, no matter what, I can treat her like a queen. Not just treating her like rubbing her
Yeah,
feet or
this is
something.
not like fake it till you make it
the
either.
thing is, a queen, I mean, in my book, a queen is not just someone who looks pretty and everybody serves her. My queen is someone who is held in a very high respect to a very high standard. A person of integrity, a person who is, worthy of being a light to her kingdom, to outside of her kingdom, to the fucking world.
Yeah.
And so I treat her like I have the responsibility. I can take 100% of the responsibility in treating her like that queen, that person, and holding her in that respect all the time. And when I found that out, like when I figured that out, that was an insight that came to me through some of the stuff we've been going through in our coaching, and also in a book, in Garrett J. White's book, The Warrior Book. Also part of that also. Matt just started stuttering because I saw Joseph Hutchinson come on.
And you guys too, I
Love you,
also want to
brother.
make a note that that him making that declaration, that commitment to treat me like
Boom. So I'm not finished yet.
No,
So
it's not like he pretends like he's not mad about stuff. He still handles that. I feel like what I saw in there was this potential to interpret that as like you pretend like stuff doesn't bother you anymore and you just treat me like this great person.
yeah, I see what you're saying. So I will go there. After that.
Okay.
So first is like when I made that shift, like when I had that sight of, wow, I can take 100% responsibility and treat her like a fucking queen, no matter what period.
Did it last week.
And then I have to acknowledge it and get back into it. But I still have that power. I can
Doesn't
still
mean
do
you're
that.
gonna be perfect, people.
Yeah, I'm not perfect, but I have that power. When I realize it, I can do that no matter what. And that gives me the ability to get what I want in our marriage, to create the marriage that I want, to show up
Yeah.
as the best fucking husband I can be no matter what.
Yeah.
And like you said, when I'm out, because hey, shit happens, you can point that out to me and I get back into it. It might not happen like immediately, but shit, that's my vision. I'm gonna stay on track. I'm gonna get back. Like when I'm off track, I'll just make some adjustments and get back into it.
And that is a collision. When I call it like this is the vision and this is not fitting into that vision. The point is to get the vision. So if we're committed to having this kind of marriage with all the things that we want, then we gotta be willing to collide for that. Be willing to call each other out when we're not in that. I keep thinking that you're farting when you do that. Squeak. Yeah. So do you think how would you summarize all of this?
I would summarize it and say, so we went through our story of how lack of responsibility on either one of our parts did shit for our marriage. That was the worst hell we've ever been in our marriage.
That just does not work.
Basically, when we were both victims
Doesn't work.
of life, our circumstances, our bodies, each other, the kids fucking going crazy. Like when we were victims of everything, like that totally didn't work.
And holding on so fiercely to our victim stories. Like we just really owned them. Or they owned us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal.
Responsibility.
And then when you started taking responsibility, like things started to happen, but it fizzled out because you didn't have that vision.
Yeah.
And then when I came back with the vision and the tools, like I created this
That's
fucking
when real crazy
like that
stuff
was the
started
catalyst.
happening.
That was the catalyst.
Yeah, big time.
Catalyst of a crazy
Yeah.
fucking marriage.
Yeah.
And crazy connection. Like, oh man, some of the shit that we were doing, not even sexually. Like not even that. I'm talking like just, that's another video. But some of the connection that we had was just pure magic. Like I never thought it was possible between two human beings. And then the big shift happened when I realized, because it happened after a big fight, and I was trying to be the best fucking husband I could be. And I'm committed to that.
Are you talking about last week?
And no, I don't know when it was. It was
some other
weeks
thing.
ago.
Okay.
But yeah, this is when I broke that fucking ottoman. I went to my
you were
closet.
so mad.
So we got in this big
Beat
fight.
the shit out of that thing.
Big fight. Oh, I know. It was a friend. Oh man, it was a friend that
Yeah.
she was
that's
saying.
gonna take a whole lot of time.
Okay, yeah, all right. So, anyways, she was just out of fucking integrity, and I was pissed. And I went, like, we were fighting, so I went up to my closet. I had an ottoman, like this one that's computer's sitting on right now, and I destroyed that motherfucker. And I was like, I screamed into a towel. I was
Nice
so
blue
pissed.
color.
And I remember praying for like an hour, going after God, getting pissed at God, and and then, but in that time, after I let out my rage, I realized that, you know what, I can treat her like a queen. Like, I'm going to treat her.
Oh yeah, that was that time.
I'm going to treat her like a queen,
Right.
no matter what. And once I realized that, I took full responsibility, and I didn't even know how this would work, but I just realized that, you know what, I can only be responsible for myself. And I took full responsibility in treating her like a queen all the time. And that doesn't mean, like I said, rubbing her feet all the time. That means
You don't want to rub my
holding
feet,
her
they
to a
smell.
particular high standard that causes collisions. Because when a
Yeah.
queen is not acting like a queen, someone has to fucking tell her.
Yeah.
You know, and that's hard shit.
Not
that
a bunch of
most
people
people
pleasers.
don't want to fucking tell
Sure.
tell the queen, because hey, she get whipped, right? So
Get your head cut off.
so that shifted our marriage big time. Like when that happened, 'cause I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know what fruit to expect, and that's why we're sharing this now. Because when I did that and I took that into our marriage, that's the biggest fucking shift that happened.
And it was very risky. Just don't know what's on the other side of that. But that's the thing, when you are so ruthlessly committed to something, you take the risk anyways.
Willing to do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Yeah. And then if it turns out that that wasn't the best way, it's like, okay, well, now we know. That didn't work. That's happened. So yeah, in summary.
In summary, is it summary time?
Summary.
Cool,
It's
it is summary time.
Summary time.
So here's our challenge for you. What is your vision for your marriage?
Do you have one?
Do you have one?
Oh snap.
I mean, I talked to someone a couple days ago. Hey, what do you want in our relationship? Her relationship with me. I want a good relationship. What the fuck does that mean? A good relationship.
You gotta get really clear.
So
about
what do you want? You can write this down. You know what? Write this down.
And if you haven't watched the quick concept, we talked about just that. Like right when
just
we wrote our
be
stuff
right
down.
here, right now. Right here with
Then
us.
also go back and watch it.
What do you want in your marriage? What is your vision for your marriage? What kind of connection? What kind of intimacy? What kind of conversations do you want to have on the regular? What kind of sex do you want to have? What kind of parenting? What kind of eye to eye? Seeing eye to eye. Like we know a lot of couples
like
that
openness
they
and
don't think it's
authenticity.
possible to see eye to eye when it comes to a lot of things: business, parenting, sex.
The thing is, you will have differences of opinion, but what happens, what I see a lot is that both people don't clearly know what they want, so they just go with whatever's comfortable. And then what this
But
person's
fuck that.
comfortable
So
with, that person is
this
not.
is different though. We're talking about one person knowing what they want.
Yeah.
Fuck two
Yeah.
people. It's hard enough to get on
So
the same
if
page with
just
two
one
people.
person being clear on what they want can shift.
So that is the power of this episode. That is the power of this right now. What do you want for your marriage? We don't have to rely on our spouses. You can treat your wife as a queen right fucking now. And all the time, every day. No matter how much shit she gives you, no matter how much you think she does or does not deserve to be treated like a queen, and no matter if she has never treated you like a king. What do you want for your marriage? And then on top of that, or next, write down what is holding you back from getting that. All right.
That's good.
I think that sums it up. We're done. Any other
Yeah.
extra challenges, fun things we want to say? Thank you
Challenges
guys
and fun
for
things.
watching.
Ooh. No, I do have one rebuttal that I've heard and that
With
I've
me?
seen.
Right
No,
here on video?
Not with you.
Let's do this.
With myself. I collided with myself because we can say that one person can transform, and that is usually the case. I mean, if it's somebody that's being abusive or is what's it called? Oh my gosh, the word is escaping me. Like addicted to drugs or something. Then I don't know. Then that's up to whoever the other person is. Are you willing? How long are you willing to stick that? What's your situation? We're not talking about that. We're talking about with a typical marriage that we see, that we come across, where maybe the woman is a little like more motivated and doing her business, and the man is a little more passive and comfortable and more about going with the flow.
This is okay. So I mean,
just to draw the
you're trying to bring in a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So we're not
like
talking about abusive relationships. We're not
none of that
counselors, and we're not the police.
No.
So that's a different story.
So you handle that with
like
those
we are not talking about that at all. What we are talking about is like, because the usual marriages are two people not showing up, or if things are going pretty decently well but still hopeless.
But it's still not what
one person really wants to show up. And the other one is pure victim. But the one who wants to show up is also a victim because, hey, I can't show up because this person is not on board. So what we're talking about is one person, no matter what, you having a vision and creating that vision, creating that marriage, that relationship that you want. You treating your spouse how you, not necessarily how they deserve to be treated, but how you see them as the person that you would want to treat them as when they are that person.
Yeah. See them for who they can be.
If you had your vision right now, you had what you wanted in your marriage, you had that connection, you had that intimacy, you had all that, how would you treat your spouse right now? And you have the power to treat them like that right now. Because when we did that,
you have the vision.
When I did that, it changed our whole fucking marriage.
Yeah. But you've got to have the vision. You got to know what it is that you're looking for first. Yeah, you've got to know what it is that you're looking at first. Because I can't see him for this person up here, unless I can see that in myself. He's not just gonna magically turn into that. So anyway, the vision, and the tools. That is the summary of what we have.
Do you want to just end this conversation? Is that why you're trying to confuse everybody? Yep. Okay. Have the last word. Go ahead.
Go get your visions.